What's going on? I haven't done a video in quite a while, but here's a couple things I've been working on here and there. This one here, Cub Cadet 524 SWE model. This is the other one I'm working on. I'm just starting to work on now. 9.0 horsepower Craftsman, but start off with this one here that I've been working on. The owner said that it won't move, and this does have the differential locks to, to engage, to get it to turn one way or the other. So when you're normally driving, you have both wheels turning, but if you want to turn it, you squeeze this lever here, it releases this one, so that way you want to turn left, it'll go left. So anyways, their problem was with it is that they couldn't move it. It would not move unless you squeezed both levers on both sides, and then it would go forward. It would work like it should. Well, it's kind of stupid, to hold down 1, 2, then click both of those. That's 4 levers you got to hold at once to make it work. And he said it hasn't had a problem with it till now. So I said, well, there's something seized up somewhere, obviously, but they didn't believe me. But anyways, took this side apart. This is where your differential is, the lock on the shaft. But this here does spin now. Got some binding over here the way it is, but anywho. This has got a planetary gears on it. So, this slides onto that shaft right there. And then there's splines, or needle bearings in here. But this gear here has little splines on it to where it mates up onto here. And that's what holds it in place. So then, as you spin them, everything works handy dandy. And then this is your drive gear that goes to that axle, your main axle where the tire goes. But the problem is, sorry, I'm gonna do two things here. This gear is your outside gear. This goes over this one. So then that's turns. But this one has the teeth on the outside. Now that goes to your differential lock, runs down through here to here. And that lever right here locks onto the outside of these teeth right here. So that releases it so that way you can make a left turn, right turn, all that happy crap. Well, there's a bearing that's supposed to go in here, and the one on this side was seized up a little bit, but it wasn't horrible. I was able to spray some WD-40 on it and get it freed up and working good, so that all works good. This side, on the other hand, I pounded the bearing out. It's a little needle bearing. Yeah, you can see there's no more needle bearings left in it. It was actually seized to the shaft on there. Of course, this slides over this gear and everything else. So, but anyways, yeah, this was foobarred. So that was the issue. Definitely on this side that's why I wasn't allowing that shaft to, this bearing in here to free spin on this shaft, because this is supposed to spin on the shaft. Well, this being seized up on here was not allowing it to turn unless you squeezed this lever, and then that in turn would release everything. So that's the issue. I have a bearing coming. I was able to get some numbers off this one. Cub Cadet wants you to buy this here. You could buy this whole planetary piece, but they sell this one separate. If you look through a little bit harder into the system, they sell just this piece, but it's updated with a bigger bearing on it. It comes with like a sealed bearing on both sides that you can get like from your auto parts store. That's the way these new ones come now. But that was like $50, and the guy doesn't want to spend that. So I looked this one up. I don't know if you can see it here, focus. There's some numbers right here where my finger is. It's an SCE 98 is what it comes up to be. So I typed that into the Google, and needle bearings, it popped right up. So I found it, and Amazon sells it for $7 for this little bearing. I'm sure probably can get it cheaper somewhere else, but I said for whatever it's worth, $7 is $7, whatever. Get it coming, it'll be here in 2 days. So that's the fix for this one. I could probably replace the other side, but the other side's not horrible. All the bearings are there. There's hardly, any damage to it. Just a little bit of rust on the other side. So this one here, it's not bad. Or it's really bad. Really bad. So that's the fix for that one. Part comes in on Tuesday, I believe. Monday, Tuesday, something like that. So there's all that. Yeah. So there's that video on that one. Sorry I didn't do a whole lot of working on it, but if you have a problem with your Cub Cadet not working, with yours not working for, won't go forward or backwards unless you squeeze these little levers for your differential lock to get it to turn, to disengage your differential. I'd start with taking that apart. There is, here, I guess I can show you real quick. This one goes on first, your planetary gears. They go on to the shaft first. Yeah, of course it falls apart as I do it. But luckily there ain't too much to it. Just slides on there. Slides on there, nothing to it. Anyways, that goes on. Then this piece goes on over it, covers it up. Let me take this back off. Show you how hard. It's not that hard. How these go. I did grease the other one. I put just a light film of grease on here. In between here, because that's what they had in here, and this one's a little dry, so I'm going to put some in here. Plus, around this ring right here is where this one, sorry, can't see too well. This one here rides against. It sits up against here. So I grease that way it moves nice and freely. But once you get it back on there, the planetary gets back onto here, onto the shaft. This goes over it like so. Line up the teeth, it'll slide right on. And then you have, what the hell's that? Two little shims. Sorry, here you go. And a C-clip. That all gets snapped onto here, locks onto the shaft right here. Can't see it too well, I don't have a flashlight. Anyways, then once that's on there, this washer will go on to here. This will go on onto the shaft first. Then your bearing. This bearing does have like a C-clip around it to, it's like it can only go so far. Plus it can only go one way. Because once this is on here, this C-clip that's on this one will sit flush up against on the inside of this differential cover. That's why I'm calling it differential cover. It's probably called something else, but whatever, that's what I call it. And then you just put this back on with 4 screws that hold it on in place, and that's it. Then you slide your wheel back on with a bolt, done. And I used a 1/2-inch socket to pound that little bearing out of here. I just, it sits flush on both sides, so you can't really screw it up. So, yeah. That's that one. So like I said, if you have problems with yours, My bearing is seized up on here for this customer. And so that was the remedy for that fix. That'll be here, and I'll be able to slap that back together and be good to go. So that's all I'm going to do on this one, and then I'll do a separate video on this one. So I'll be back with another video for that.